folks, I would like to make a series of tutorials which deal with the concept of Boolean operations. The first video tutorial, which is the one that you're watching, is a rationale behind why do we need Boolean operation in the first place, and why is it that sometimes we make bodies in our Catia part. Now, I recall that maybe about 35 years ago, pretty much all the packages, CAD packages, were based on Boolean operations, and they involved primitives that you would make, and these primitives were somehow combined with each other, maybe added together, intersected, and subtracted. These days meaning the last, I don't know, 30 years ago, last 25 years ago, 20 years ago, they all have switched to also primitive based objects, but still for legacy reasons they have bodies and Boolean operation. And also sometimes actually you do need, it's a lot easier, it's not quite the legacy issue, is quite easier to do a problem with Boolean. So let me give you an example why we may need such a feature. First of all, suppose that there is an object that you are planning to injection mold. I've already made it here. Now, in order to have these injection molded, these parts injection molded, what you need to do is you have to create a mold. And the mold is actually the cavity where plastic or whatever is injected into it, and eventually it ends up with this shape. Okay. Now, when you make that mold, it's a lot easier to do Boolean operation. In other words, create your block basically, and use a Boolean operation to subtract this piece from that block. Now, once you make that mold, then you can connect your computer to a CNC machine, or you know, a milling machine, so that actually you take a slab of or a block of steel, and you dig out the stuff that you want from that slab based on the CAD drawing. Okay, so here's the situation. I've already made this, so let's go and start another file. So insert, sorry, I didn't mean insert. Well, when I made a new file. Okay, so part file. I'm going to call it the actual mold. This is going to be probably made out of steel when it's to be used in real life. Okay, and let's make it. So on a convenient plane, on that horizontal plane, I make a big enough rectangle, so eventually I can bring that piece and make a subtraction from it. So right there. So this is going to be my mold, and then we exit, and then we pad it in the opposite direction. Long enough so that other piece can be dug out of it. So let's make it maybe 3. So it looks like, yeah, that'll probably do it. Okay, good. So let's save this thing. File, save management. Right there, actual mold. Save as, and it's going to be there. Okay, so in fact, right now I have on my screen I have 2 parts. I'm going to put them side by side. So tile them vertically. One of them is the thing to be molded, injection molded, and this is the actual mold. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to select this part body and then say copy. See that? Copy. Then I go here and I say right click, paste special. Now what that does is that if I select as a result with the link, then of course any changes that you make here, because this is done as a result of the link, is going to be reflected on the left hand side. So as a result of the link, and you say OK. There we are. Okay, so I don't need this. I can minimize it or close it right there. Now you can manipulate these things. These are two. Notice that it was inserted as two bodies. By the way, there is a plus sign here, and we'll worry about this issue in the next tutorial. This is just to show you why we may need Boolean operations. All right. Now these are two separate parts and are penetrated each other. Notice that there is no line here. We can manipulate these things because these are bodies using this, for example, constraint icon. From that face to this face, there is a dimension here. You can change it. You can move it, for example, to the left, to the right. Let me make it 2.5, just to show you the ability to manipulate these. Maybe another one. Okay, you got a picture? All right, good. Now, what we want to do is we want to remove this part from that part. Now, there are two different approaches when it comes to doing operations like this. One is based on the concept of assembly. Well, let me actually first of all, get the toolbar that we need for Boolean operation. This is assembly, and this assembly, we can do that subtraction, addition, etc., but based on these pluses or minuses. These are polarity. But the other one is just a regular, common sense add, subtract operation. So obviously I want to remove. You click on it. Now, the first line can never be part body, because there's no way you can remove part body. So even if you try to do a part body here, error message. Can't be that. So the first one is got to be this guy, the thing that I want to remove, and I want to remove it from part body. Automatically it selects the part body, but if there are other bodies that you want to remove this body to from them, then you just put the cursor here and select the other bodies. But right now I just want to remove it from part body. And I have no control over this thing. Basically this is default. It says, notice that there was a pad here. It says after pad 1. Don't worry about this because there's nothing you can do with it. So you can preview it right there and you say OK. So notice that you made them all. Now if you have the ability, you can save this thing as a part file, or perhaps send it to your CNC machine and it's going to mill it out. Okay. So I think, oh yeah, by the way, if I go to my other part, which I minimized here, and make a change in it, because I made a copy and paste special vertically. Okay, so let me vertically, did I close that? Oh, it's actually right here. So let's window tile it vertically right there. So if I go to this part, and make some changes, for example, let's go to the sketch and let me make this thing, bring it down, and we bring this down, make some changes here, whatever you want. Okay, something like that. And exit. Over here, notice that became red. And what that means is that it's ready to be updated. So if I update it here, there we are. See that? Copy, paste special, which means with a link, as a result with a link, and you make changes here, the changes are reflected there. So that I'm going to stop here. The next tutorial is going to be dealing with the issue of first of all, how do we insert bodies, manipulate bodies, and a few common sense things about it. All right.